Hi everyone. I welcome you all to the session of Getting Started with Web Development, Part 2 of Global Hack Week December again. So, um, First of all, I would like you all to check in on the OHQ link I'm dropping. So you can just go onto this link and check in over there after you have registered. Hello, guys. Hi. Hey. Hey Himanshu. Hi everyone. What's up people? How are you? How are you doing? It's pretty late right now here. So I hope you guys aren't sleepy. Are you? Cause I am. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So Today, now after we have done a basic level of web development, we are gonna build a portfolio using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that is what we are gonna do today. We're trying to build a portfolio. So um, that too a responsive one. So we'll do that later. So let's wait for a few more people to join and we'll just start with our workshop, right? So it's pretty late in India. I don't know about other places, but here it's getting late. And I think most of the people might have gone to sleep by now. So I am a early sleeper and I am slept by this time at least. So never mind. So to introduce myself again, I'm Khushi Mahawar and I'm an MLH coach. So and this is my web development session here with Global Hack Week December. So I suppose we are ready to start now, and let me just present my screen. Hey, was I not audible by this time? Okay, okay, okay. I hope it's better now. Okay. So you're not able to hear me till now. Never mind. I believe you got a glimpse of what was happening here. So we created a header tag, then a nav tag, and inside that we added some div tags so that we could create some blocks of our hamburger menu and then a nav menu, then our logo, and we created a styles file where we adding our variables which we'll be using, so that we need not repeat the values, and we can just call the variables we created to make our task easier, right? Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, fine, that's awesome. So we have set our UL, and now we can work on the anchor tag and set its text decoration as none, as one of our audiences said. So also for the img tag, I am just setting it as 100% for once, it as auto, and let this be displayed as block, right? So moving ahead for class CSS, we'll do that later. Now let's come on to the layout of the navbar. So here we have created a header class. Here it is. So let's set some CSS values for it. So I is for head to access a class we use a dot, while for IDs we use a hash. So let me just set the width as 100%, and since we want our nav bar to be fixed, so position shall be fixed. Top margin 0, left margin 0 again. Let us just add z index 2, and okay. So we had already created a variable for this and we accessed it, and let's set a background color to it. So I'll just use white, which is hash FFF as we know, and I'll just create a box shadow so that we can separate the nav bar from the other content, or from the a body content, so that there's a difference in appearance in of both. So just adding and now I'm adding a gray shadow below it. So there is a hex code I'm using, RGB code, I'm sorry. So, so I was saying CSS is kind of difficult, according to my point of view, because it is kind of a trial and error you do in CSS, and it is not always something happens which you want it to look like. So it's kind of trial and error, and that's why I suggest to use libraries and learn them and use them in your projects, because it's easier to create and beautify your pages. So I had intentionally learned some libraries to implement CSS. So now I'm adding CSS um, for our nav menu, that is. So and now I have added it to be displayed as flex. So it will be displayed in a flex direction. So right now, yes, it is being displayed. So what I'll do is add some space in between, so that it will now have space and it will be separated from each other. So we can see the logo is right here, and the nav links or the nav menu and a hamburger menu is at the end. So we have set our nav, and we can also align items here to the center, so that vertically these items can also be aligned. And let's set the font weight as var. I remember we had created a variable font semi for font weight, so we'll access that. So that's it. Now we can, create a media query here. So we know that when the screen size of this page would be smaller, what we want to do is that this disappears and it will appear only when this hamburger menu is clicked. So let's do something, and I am creating a media query and adding max width as 767 pixel. So this should be fine to go with. And nav menu. So here I'm keeping the position as fixed. So nav menu was our this div, which is this these nav links container. So I'm just setting it here. So the position is kept as fixed, and I'll just push it down through margin so that whenever it's clicked, it does not, overlap the header, and it comes below the header whenever it appears. So I'm giving a margin which is equal to the header height, and now I'll just set it for 0, and let's set the width as 80%, height to be 100%. Let's add some padding to it, and I'm adding as to rem right now some background color. um, let's add the secondary color to it, which is black, and its transition, so zero point 0.5 seconds should be fine to go with. So here we have added it, and right now it looks the same. But once we'll add a few more things, add our JavaScript code, it will work the way we want it to work as. So now let's set our code for nav items. So we had created a nav item. Let's add CSS to these list items. So here I'll add some margin to my list items so that they can be a little separated uh, from the other items. So MB4 should be fine. Let's see. Yes, they have been a little separated now. Seems fine. And let's now add. Right now, I see the text color is still blue as it is for the anchor tag. So let's change the color. So what class can be used is navlink. So let's use navlink here. So I'll set the position. Okay, position as relative, and then set the color as white. Because we have used the background black, white should be fine with this, or no, it's fine, I guess. Right. So the next, so I'll just add a few more things to this to make it better. So whenever it gets hovered, so something shall happen. So we can create some color to be displayed whenever it gets hovered. So after, let's add, let's change this position to absolute, and content. Okay. So right now I'm not experimenting with the CSS because I know it would take time. So I have a little bit of my notes I'm referring so that it's easier and quicker for you guys too. So when you guys implement, you can just when you're building it from scratch, you always do a trial and error where you try setting it as point one, and then you realize we could have done made it better by using 0.18. So that is how you usually do it. But to not waste our time, I am just adding the um, you know the CSS directly so that we can just see how the change is gonna come once we add our colors. So here I have my primary color, right? So I have added. So what would happen is whenever I bring my cursor over it and um, so this would appear the my navlinks would appear as the primary color instead of white. So also right now, let's see what happened. This has converted into white, so it's not being displayed, and our logo is still in the anchor, you know, anchor tag color. So let's change the color of logo to. So let's just change it to the primary color, right? So primary. And right, so the next step we have our toggle button. So for the toggle button, let's add some CSS. We did create a toggle button here too. Right, we did. Yes. So let's add some color to it. I believe black should be fine. Let's move it with it. And I'm setting a font size so that the icon can, look a little bigger. Let's set it as 1.5 rem, and then the cursor to be set as pointer because we would want the user to click on it. That's it. So this is how we have added a CSS for the nav bar. And yeah, so there's another thing we can add. Let's add an active component here, active class, so that whenever a link is active, it would be displayed in a different way. So after the it has been clicked, let's add CSS for it. So I'll just add the similar thing here. Right. Um. So moving ahead, let's add the JavaScript to our nav menu. So I'm creating a main.js file, and here we'll create our JavaScript code. So I hope you all are with me, and um, it's a little bit clear to you all. So if that's it, let's move ahead. Right. So let's create a const. First, let me just link this sheet so that so I'm creating a script tag here, right? And we'll just link it. I'm sorry. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So here, let's just add this main.js file. So if I had added this in some folder, in src folder or something, so I would have to add that folder as well over here. But since there is nothing as such, I simply added this. And let's create a show menu, um, so that once it gets toggled, a function has been created where we give the toggle id button and the nav id button as the parameters. So here we create document dot get element by id. So I've created a toggle constant here, and I get this by the id, um, which we have already given as a parameter. So toggle id, and okay, I need not give this. And then I have nav, and I also use it by get element by id, and I give here a nav id, right? So if toggle and nav both are true, we will just add a css to it once our toggle is clicked. Add event listener, click. Creating a function. Right. So I'm using class list, which allows you to add a class, add or remove a class. So let's add this class show. Let's also create a class show. So right here, let's set this as -100%, so that whenever the user you know goes beyond, goes lesser than this width, the nav menu disappears, it goes towards the right. And whenever the user clicks on the nav menu button, the nav menu goes towards a left by through this transition we had added. So this is the basic we are using here. So once we have created this function, we can just simply call this function and add nav toggle. So this what was the id for toggle? Okay, this was the id. So always add an id and class to your elements or tags, because later when you use them, you need them. So this was the nav menu id, I guess. Yes. So here we have created. So let's see if it's working or not. Is it? Okay. Right now it's not working. Never mind, we'll set it. But we can see how it has been built. We have a logo, we have the nav menu, and uh, our uh, um, our nav links are not visible, but our nav links are here when the screen dimension is according to the desktop size, but when it's for the mobile size, it's not visible. So that is how we can implement it. And so right now, let's just keep it till here and move ahead and look over this when we are done. So the header is built. Now let us have a look over the main content, which would be something which would hold a picture and the name of the person. So let us just call this as main class or home. So I am creating a main tag and adding a class as main. So whenever you create a new section, you can use a section class and add a class to it. So right now let's set it as home, id as home, and that's it. And now let me add some title to heading to it. So class, oh, I'm so sorry. Here we have to write the class. So the class is my home title. Home title. Okay, home title. So hi, I am Rishi Mahavar. And then the next line I want web developer. Right. So now if I want my name to be displayed in a different color, I can use a span tag. As we learned, span tag is an inline tag which allows you to display things in the same line. And let's just use a color style over inline css over here and add the color as what was the code, pfp whatever. So just let I've written this code. So yeah, so our name is being displayed in a different color as we wanted, and uh, um, our profession is being displayed here, and we're stating hi. So this is how it could be done. And let's add an image. Before we add image, I'm thinking to add a button over here so that whenever the user wants to contact me, he or she can click on this button. So for this button, I'm creating an anchor tag as well, because once a contact us button is created clicked, it would direct the user to the contact us section. So here I've created a contact an anchor tag, and I'm setting this class as button and contact. Good to go. Okay, seems fine. So the next task here would be, so another thing which I could have done is that enclosed this entire thing in one div, so that it would be easier for me to access it as a complete block. So now I'll add some social icons over here for the user to connect with me on social media. So um, I am gonna use from Font Awesome icons. So you all can use any kind of icons you wish to. So here I can search for the icon. So let's search for LinkedIn. Once you click on this, just copy it and you'll be able to paste it here. So first I'll just add an anchor tag too. So class, let's give it a class name, and let's say it's home social. Okay, social icon, and let's paste it here. Paste it. So let me just copy this. um, I'll just find some other icons too. So found it. So this is something which is kind of little boring when you copy paste things for the same kind of components. So um, React.js framework allows you to just reuse the components you have built in different parts of code. So for example, I've built a header. I can use it in different places, and I need not set up the header for every web page I create. So this is something I love about um, React.js. I would suggest you all to learn it as well. Right. So this is done. Mm, okay, we have created it. So now the last thing I wanted to add was an image. So for the image, I had planned to add some good image. So make it beautified. So this is my basic image. I'm gonna copy paste it to my folder. Okay, copy paste paste it. So what I referred this code where I could use an SVG file and create a better picture of according to the UI. So I'll just copy paste this here, and if you see, this picture has been added here. So once we set the CSS for this, this would look surely better. So right now it looks kind of horrible. So we have added a div tag for our image. We have added our div container for the social media icons, a div container for the for some text. That's it. So let's move to styles.css and add some style to the main content of the page. So okay, where do we begin? So again, we are back to the boring part. And okay, um, okay, let's begin from here. So this section, home. So also we're using section for different kinds. For example, we'll use section tag for about us as well, for work section as well. So let us, why not create something for the section too? Um, have I added something related to the section over here? Not yet, right? Never mind. So just let's start with the home CSS. So I'm adding creating its position as relative according to its parent, and creating a row gap so that there is a gap between the button. Okay, the between the sections, different sections, and creating some padding for it. Let's set it as 4 rem 0 and 5 and 5 rem. Let's see how it okay, it has been shifted a little bit here. um we'll shift it more towards the center later. Let's just try if it's going fine. Next we had our home title. Okay, okay. hmm Let me see. So let's give this as well a class name as home data. And have we given these a class name? No. So let's give them a class name as well. So this is our class home social. This is our class home img. Right. So now we can work on the code of these classes too. So moving back to our CSS code. So working on home title. First of all, I'll also align the home data, that is the container of home title. So I'll just align it as align self center, um, right? And then the home title, let's set it font size. Um, variable. I want it to look really big, since it's on the front page and gives the first impression. So I had created this variable, I've accessed this variable here, and now I'll add some bottom margin to it so that it can be separated from the other block which is at the bottom. So not adding much margin here. So yes, this looks bigger and huge than before, and a margin, a margin has been created between these two. So looks fine. So home title, home social. Next was home social, right? So home social. I want this to be displayed as flex, in a single row or a column. So right now I want it to be displayed as in a column. So I'm setting this as a column because I want, in the mobile view, it to be displayed in a column way, so that it does not interfere between the image and the other data while it has been set as a row. So um, home social. Now we had the icons inside the home social container. So home social icon. Let's set them. Width as max content, margin bottom width. So just using the var font size. Not much for the icons. 1.5 REM should be fine to go with. Adding some color. Um, I guess black should be fine. So let's set it to as a secondary color. Home social icon done. Then, so what if we want, home social icon to look a little more beautiful when it gets hover? So let's just add on hover thing here too. Color, just change the color, which is our primary color. Done. So done with the social icon. Now let's do it with the img container. So position, let's set the position as absolute. So now no position as relative. Right now I'm adding no margin so that it would be easier for me to change the margin if I want to. Setting the width as 260 pixel if should. Okay, seems fine. Seems fine. Now I'll try all of these things to be arranged in a better manner. So, okay. Now, hmm, now I had this SPG tag copied code. Now let's just set this in a better way so that we can make our website presentable. So let's fill the color of that SPG with our primary color. So this is how you have to, restrict yourself to the UI of the um of the UI or the theme of the website. So if you have selected a few colors, you have to use those colors only, so that your theme or the UI looks consistent. So it is attractive and presentable to the user. So now I'm adding um, blog. So let's just add the width as 360 pixel. So it's done. I suppose we had a button too. So let's add for this button as well. So button class button display inline block. Mm, okay, fine. Mm. And I want to add a background color. Let's set it as R. So here, instead of writing my primary color like this way, that's the reason I've used variable, so that I can just simply call my primary color and I need not write my hex code everywhere. So this is how it is being used. I'm setting the color text color as white and adding some padding to it. Um, should be fine to go with. Font weight had been has was already created, I guess. Font semi should be fine here. And then we have border radius. So usually buttons these days have some border, otherwise it looks very traditional and boring. So to add some border radius, that is some UI technique you should adopt. So I suppose it looks fine. Okay, the color still not got updated. Is there some reason? Um, Blob. Okay, now it should be. Let's see. Hmm. So this is how the color has been updated now. If I want to set it, I can just add some margin. Hmm, let's say um, 7 rem or 10 rem, maybe more. Okay. Or is it okay? Mm, it's not probably. So let's add it. This is also 10. And what if I add more? Okay. Seems fine. Seems fine to me. So this is what I hate in CSS, where you just keep trying things and until they look fine. So let's add a hover effect over the button too. So here is the button, and I'm creating a hover effect over here. So nothing but adding a box shadow so that it looks better. So here in the box shadow, I'm adding color of the box shadow. It should be in 0.15. Seems fine. A box shadow. I'm not sure if you guys are able to recognize it, but a box shadow has been added. So I hope you're all there and you're finding this not boring at least. So right. So we have made. Where have we reached? So this looks fine. Okay, this was not working. We'll edit this. And let's just, change this as well. This is looking, bad. So where is my nav? Nav logo. Okay, let me just add a left margin and we'll deal with this later. About 40 pixel. Seems fine. And for the toggle button as well, margin right, similar to it, 40 pixel. Seems fine. Okay. Okay, so once we have our first section completed, that is home, let's try adding a second section, which is about this page. So for the second section, um, let's create a class about us. Okay, you cannot create the class this way. So and I'm also adding an ID to it. So it would be about and div. Here I'm planning to add an image. So class about image. So you can add go ahead and add an image over here and an img tag src. So right now I do not have any image downloaded. So just assume there is an image. So moving ahead. So um, this div container of image has been created. Now next what we can do is, okay, let me also put the div container to wrap around the text inside the about us. So this was the about us container. Okay, about container and creating another div h2 adding some text in the about us page. Class about subtitle and let's add I am Khushi. And in the next thing we can add a paragraph with some lorem ipsum text. And here let's just add text. So whenever you want to add some lorem ipsum text, just go and search lorem ipsum generator and from here generate lorem ipsum, copy, paste. Okay. Um. So done with this. Added, completed the about us section 2 and add css for it. So again the boring task. So for the about us css, and the other one we have is about container, right? So for the about container, I am giving a row gap as we had given it earlier too for the um, homepage section as well. I'm putting text align as center. What happened to this? Row gap is not identified, but we did use it earlier. Where is it? Where are you? They used it here too. Okay, okay. Hyphen instead of the underscore. So, where were we? So, this is fine. And now let's add some CSS to the title of the About Us, margin bottom, RMB. So these variables also allow you to set a fixed value of margins in between your content and not a random value. So this makes your pages look consistent. And then we had our image, but we have not yet added the image. So let's just still add justify content. So no, let's use justify style. Enter. I have not yet added the empty tag, so let's skip this. So here this has been added. So once what I wanted to do is I wanted to have an image on the left side and the text on the right side. So I have skipped it for now. And now I so this is the way we're gonna build our page sections. So if you want, we can build it for the another section as well, and then we'll just jump to the JavaScript code. Let's just build the footer now, and because we have a constraint of time. And so from this section, hmm, where is our main? We did create a main, and from here our main body section has been ended, so I'm creating a footer tag here and naming it as class footer. So class go to footer. Okay, footer title, and let's just name it as Kushi. And then in the footer we usually have our social media icons, or a subscribe input button, or a contact us button, or some details about the address or the email kind of thing. So we'll just add here our social media icons, and we'll be good to go. So we had used those icons. So let's just copy paste from here and copy paste it, but I would have to change this name. So let's name it as photo icon. Done. And we have our icons too here. So our footer is done. Is it visible? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's now we can add CSS to it. So here in the footer, so let me add the background color of the footer as black. Or it would look a little cool because our play website is entirely purple or white. So black shall look better, and let's just set the text color as white, text align as center, so that the my name and the social icons get centralized. Font weight um, 600, and padding to REM on the top and bottom. Okay. Now we just need to make it these a little bigger. So so footer title. So my name is on footer title. So I'll just make it a little bigger through font size. So font size, let's keep it as 2 REM. I'll also give a margin bottom over here so that it gets separated from the social media icons. And MB4 should be fine to go with. Footer title, footer social icons. Mm, Here also let's give a margin bottom of same before and in the footer icon. Right, looks fine. Font size. Let's increase the size of the icon so that they should be at least visible to the user. And websites are always built keeping user in the mind so that we are able to develop the best possible interface for the user. Margin 0 for the top and bottom, and 22 for the right and left. Seems fine right now for us. So once we're done with this, we can now add media queries to our code. So media queries are nothing but they allow us to set the website content in a beautiful manner when we change the dimensions of the web page. So right now, let's look how our web page is behaving. So we see the image has been displayed, although the text and the button, even the icons look okay. The image has been displayed. The text here looks okay, but needs to be, needs to get some padding. So let's set this image in a proper way. So I'm adding some media max width. Let it be for 320 pixels. So when I write max width, it means that whenever the width is of 320 pixel and lesser than 320 pixel, the CSS inside this block would be adopted. So I'm just writing the CSS I used for my page home image, and the home image is my image which is over there, and this would get little reduced than earlier. Now that's it. So for you can create media queries for different dimensions. So here I created it for 320 pixel and lesser than that, and to create for greater than that, um, I can use different values of dimensions. For example, if I want to create it for 576 pixel and greater than 576 pixel, I'll create it over here. So let's add padding for REM 0 to REM home social. We had created an home social class, if you remember, where it consisted of all these icons as we see, right? So adding padding to this, padding, let this be set as 0. Okay, no underscores. So now for padding bottom, let it be 2.5 REM. And text direction. So what as I told, that in the mobile view, this thing would be displayed in a column, while in the web view, that is for the devices of greater dimension, it can be displayed in a row. So that is how we are going to do. um okay, I didn't use any add-ons or plugins, but it can be always used. For example, in NPM Node Package Manager, or um, Yarn, you can use their kind of plugins, and from there you can just import the things you want to use. So there, for example, if I want to add an image carousel, I can just import and add it to my my code directly, and I need not build it from the scratch. So right now here I didn't use any kind of plugins. It's the most basic code as possible. It because I'm trying to make it beginner friendly, and so that's it, no plugins. So moving back here, so as I told, I wanted this to look in a row when we're using it in the web view. So flex direction has been set as row, and let it self align itself at the flex end. So another thing, as I told in my earlier session as well, Flexbox is sometimes difficult to understand. So for the beginners, you can use this game to understand it. It's called Flexbox Zombies by Mastery Games. From there, you can play the game, enjoy the game, as well as understand the basics of Flexbox. That is how I did when I started with web development. So let's set it for the home social home image. Is that been done? No, not yet. So did we set it from for the icon too? You not yet. Okay. Let's set it for home social icon as well. So I am setting the margin bottom as 0, giving some margin right. R before home img width as 300 pixel. Here bottom 25%. Since this is for the views greater than 576, so we have increased the width of the image as it was before. So this is how you can create your own media queries for different dimensions, where you can increase or decrease the margins, paddings, width, or even change the the way it looks by using flex, direction, row, or column. So once this has been done, we can also create it for about container we had created. So let's use grid over here. So I'm using grid is also something which is similar, a little bit similar like Flexbox, but you need to understand the difference. And that is also something which I found difficult to understand when I started with it. But later on, it was fine when I studied it from Geeks for Geeks. No promotional thing. Adding a column gap on REM. Okay. So we are done with about container 2, and let's see how it's going. See, this has been aligned in a row now, and this is still we can add a padding to it. Never mind. So the image is yet to be aligned. Okay. This is working fine. This text is working fine. The image is yet to be aligned. Okay. So what we can do is, okay, also for the bigger values, let's create some media queries too. So for media screen, and for minimum width, set as 768 pixel. So similarly, I hope you got the glimpse how it's working. So if I show you, um, okay, why this has been added. Okay, why are there some errors here? Ah, I see. So I hope you got the glimpse how you can create media queries here. So let me show you the similar page I created earlier. Let's open this um, in Visual Studio Code. So it was a similar code I worked on um, where I created my portfolio. So this was something I worked during my freshman year where I worked on building this code which I took reference from somewhere. So let us see how this was built. Let me open it with the live server. So over here we can see that this nav bar has been linked accordingly, and right now the section isn't complete, but I just wanted to give a glimpse to you all. A contact form has been added here, a submit button, and at the end there is this footer. So and once you click inspect, from inspect you can see that when you click this, a navbar opens, and whenever you click the button inside the navbar, the navbar is getting closed. So this is being handled by the javascript code which has been written. So here's the contact form too, and you see the page is exactly responsive and looks quite presentable and beautiful when it's even in the mobile view. So you see the text has been set to text line center when it was in the mobile view, while when it's in the web view it looks in this way, which is kind of left aligned. So let me show you the code for this. So here it is for the menu show. As we discussed, we use the parameters toggle ID and nav ID. So we use these elements by tracking their IDs, and then whenever if toggle and nav were true, and whenever nav was clicked, we would add the show class. Let me search the show. Here is the show class. So when a show class would get added to the nav menu class, and the here is the nav menu class. Where is it? So here we see it has been set to negative 100% for right. That means that the nav menu is not at all on the web page. It is away even from the right side of the page. So whenever the toggle button is clicked, the right margin sets to zero, and through the transition it gets appeared as we saw it here. So whenever I click this, a transition happens and it moves towards a left and it gets appeared. So this was how it was happening. And also, as I said, whenever you click on any of the menu links in the menu bar, so it gets closed. So there is this remove menu mobile function which has been written. So here link action, so when we click on each nav link we remove the show menu class. So here also we're using class list, which removes the show class, and um, the this nav menu gets disappeared. So when I click this, the show class which had been added when I press toggle button has been removed from here. So also, if you notice, a scroll component has been added here whenever I click on the home button or on the about or on work or on contact. Scroll has been added through JavaScript. So this is something which you can refer. And then here is the scroll reveal animation. And these were the media queries we used. So right now I've not uploaded this on Git. If you want, I can upload it on Git and add it in the comments later for you all. So that's it, guys. This was something we wanted to do today. And sure, I would send a project link. I would first upload this project on Git and add a link for this on Twitch maybe. And here's the check-in link. Do check is. I hope the people who are watching this video without registering, you guys can also check in over here, and that would be very awesome of you. So I hope you guys like the session and you learned from here. So web development is not all about writing code by yourself. You can always refer and learn from the internet and apply onto your project. So this is how you learn web development. I'm struggling to do that thing with media query to switch the nav menu to a drop down. Still learning. I can completely relate it. So when I'll what I'll do, I'll upload this Git for I'll upload this code on the GitHub, and then from there you can um, yes, it's definitely fun to use media queries because you get that fun to create different web displays for different dimensions. It was fun for me earlier, then it became a little irritating, and since then I tried using CSS libraries rather than working on simple media queries. So that's it, guys. This was the end of session 2 of our web development. So that's it. Let's meet in the next Global Hack Week or maybe in some next hackathon. So thank you, guys. You were awesome. Okay. Bye bye.